Hi, my name is Robert. Please read the comments in the About section of this video. It has valuable information and updates. My YouTube channel has a disclaimer video that I encourage you to watch. And please like, share, and subscribe. I hope you found what you're looking for. Thank you very much for watching. This morning we're going to start off by detailing peaches. So let me get started with the engine compartment. From there I'm going to vacuum the interior, clean the exterior, and probably wax the exterior. And those wheels are going to be tough because they are dirty. I found some new gunk engine cleaner and degreaser. Never seen this before. Citrus smell, may have a better odor than the other stuff. And I'm going to follow the instructions on here and see how well it does cleaning the engine. I usually use that kind of stuff there in the aerosol can, but I'm thinking this may go a little further than that stuff does. Okay, the instructions are similar as with other cleaner degreasers. You want to cover and protect sensitive components, computer stuff. You want to spray it generously on things. You don't want it to get into intake systems or bad electrical connectors like frayed wires and stuff. Let it soak, they say, for 10 minutes. Brush your heavily soiled areas and then rinse it down with cool water, and then start the vehicle and let it dry for 15 minutes. So let's see how this stuff does compared to the other stuff. Alright, I guess I'll start my 10-minute timer. I lowered the hood down so that the sun doesn't dry it before I rinse it down. I like to get the engine compartment clean because I don't think there's anything worse than open up the hood, check the oil, and everything is so grimy and dirty in there that you can't even check the oil without getting dirty. I do my best never to wet the underside of the roof insulation. That stuff starts sagging, you have a little bit of a mess on your hands. And I try to get it all rinsed off and rinsed down before it dries. I try not to use too much water, and it's hard to get the intake system, intake manifold in the top of the engine is the important thing. So let's give it a few minutes and rinse it down. Okay, I used about 1/4 of the bottle. I resprayed a few areas, brushed a few areas. Been about 8-9 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and rinse it down. Well, overall it looked like it did pretty good. I did brush off this intake manifold, the spark plug guard, the top of the cam cover, and I'm satisfied with what I see so far. I'm letting it idle to dry. I guess I'm gonna close the hood, let it run for 15 minutes while I vacuum some of the interior. Starting off today, checking on that 95 850 T5 that my friend has, that's having some starting and cranking issues. Last time we were here, we were tinkering around with the air conditioner. Now, it's very common with these 850s and other vehicles as well that they have problems with the battery connections. As you can see with my scan gauge, that's one thing I like about the scan gauge. It gives this reading off of the AWD port. Even though this is a 95, it does have AWD, and some of the 94s does as well. And with this car, it's having an intermittent cranking issue. Sometimes it cranks, sometimes it doesn't. And I think it's the battery cable. So I put my AWD gauge on there. When I hit the starter, watch the volts drop all the way down in the 8 range. You didn't get to see it drop down in the 8 range before it cut out for some reason. But it's charging real well. But that battery is either getting weak or dying, or it's the battery connections is causing it to have issues. Now, the starter is the most powerful electrical component on a vehicle. It takes a lot of voltage, amps or whatever, to get it started. But if you take a look at these battery terminals, they're getting a little dirty, and especially these wires that jump off of that positive cable, I think that may be the wires that go to the fuse box and stuff like that. When these things build up a little bit of corrosion, they cause these starting and charging issues and stuff like that. And maybe this battery is reaching the end of its life. At any rate, this driver doesn't do things like run the radio and stuff like that. So I'm going to clean this off. Maybe that will help her get through a few more months, or she just needs to replace the battery. At any rate, these cables do need cleaned off. You always want to disconnect the negative first, then disconnect the positive, and then take this screw on this side loose. As I'm taking the screw loose, you can see the corrosion falling down on the battery. This definitely needs to be cleaned off. As you can see, there appears to be a little bit of corrosion between these terminal posts. I'm going to actually take that all the way off so I can clean in between every joint of this terminal. Okay, I have everything apart. I'm going to start by scraping this off as best I can. You could hold it in a pair of pliers. And I use this set of wire brushes from Walmart. I get them from. But anyway, you could get them a lot of places. I use the steel one because it's the hardest. So I'm going to scrape everything, every joint in connection with that. Then I'm going to use my battery post cleaner to clean the post and the cable connections. Then I'm going to put everything back together. Okay, I have both sides of these wires and things cleaned off. The nuts, the bolts, the terminals, the cables. In severe cases, you may have to get this terminal connection rebuilt. If corrosion gets down in there like that, you may have to take that apart, clean those wires off real good, and sometimes even replace those wires. I've seen people try to replace these wires with these big screw terminal connectors that they use in households. Those normally don't do a good enough job. It's better to replace the cable from the battery to the starter. So let me put this back together, and this should help, and I'll get a report back from her in a few days if she has any more issues. Everything's back together. If you have those anti-corrosive pads, go ahead and use those. Spray it down with that anti-corrosive spray that they sell for batteries. If you don't have that, go ahead and cover it with something like petroleum jelly or something. But I've never understood fight corrosion with the Coca-Cola thing, so don't do that. After you get done, you want to wash your hands real good. It's better to use gloves when doing stuff under the hood. Also, you should have a good current tetanus shot anytime you're dealing with metal stuff and working on cars and wire brushes and stuff like that. And try not to breathe too much of that battery corrosive dust that's coming off of there while you brush it. I normally put my face in my t-shirt. So let's start the car, make sure it starts, and also after we get the car started, reset this clock. Had to disconnect the battery, so you have to reset the clock. So it's reading better voltage, well, same voltage that it was a minute ago. Let's see how far it dips down when I go to start it. It didn't drop near as low, so we might be better off. So she'll let me know. I don't know why my gauge is cutting off. Maybe not plugged in. Parking brake light. Alright, she's still charging good. I'm at the junkyard a few minutes before 10. It's already 80-something degrees. But one of my viewers has a problem with the fuel leak. You may have seen that video of that silver V70R. And I'm going to try to lower the suspension and take the fuel lines from this 98 V70. I think the fuel lines will be the same on this vehicle as it is on his. I'm going to take a glance at it and go from there. Since this vehicle is an all-wheel drive, it's likely the same makeup as that one, and it looks like the fuel pump assembly access is the same as on his. I think it's a 2000R. So let me try to get these fuel lines out of here, drop the suspension to get the tank out. There's the top of the fuel pump assembly sending unit, and here's the bottom of the tank. Here's some of the suspension parts. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove these 4 bolts to get that part of the suspension released from the frame of the car. I removed 3 17mm bolts and 1 18mm bolt from here, and that dropped down about 5 inches. Next, I'm going to pull this bolt from here, that 14mm bolt there, and that bolt from there. I think these two are 17s. Let me double check. Yes, 2 17s and a 14. With those 7 bolts removed from the passenger side, you can see that this rear suspension on this side is loose. Next, I'm going to take the strap off of the front of the fuel tank on this side. Looks like a 12 or 13mm. From inside the back, you remove the panel that covers the back wheel. Remove these 2 side panels. They just pry up and out of the vehicle. And then you remove the forward panel that covers the wheel by accessing those 2 10mm screws on both sides. Once the cover panel or jump seat, whichever you have, is out of the way, then you can remove the panel here that covers the fuel pump access and remove this little cover, pop it up, so you can access this other little panel here that goes down to help you see fuel lines and stuff like that. And those just pop loose like door panel clips. When you're looking at the sending unit, the fuel line on the passenger side goes back to the back of the fuel filter. Next, I pulled the bolt out of the VC mounting bracket back here. You go under the car there, and there's a 17mm bolt there. When you get that bolt out, then you go over the other side and release the strap on the other side of the fuel tank on the driver's side. You can normally hold the fuel tank down low enough to disconnect the fuel lines, undo the cap, and slide that fuel sending unit out. So there's the fuel sending unit out there. I maneuvered it out. And there is this fuel line here that goes over to the other side of the tank. And let me go over there and show you what's over there. You have the driver's side fuel tank strap there. And then you have a cap assembly here with a line. I don't know if that's another fuel pump in there or not, but there's some kind of electrical lines in there. And then you have the cap and the lines that disconnect here. The one line from the passenger side comes over here and connects to this connection on the driver's side. We use our Wii to watch movies and stuff in our living room TV, and we've been having problems with the Wi-Fi connecting properly. So I ordered a network adapter for it, and I'm going to show you how it was performing before and after the wired network adapter that we ordered from eBay. So here's the Wii. It says push A to get started. Do that. Get it on Netflix. Hit start. And this way we watch all of our Netflix on our flat panel TV. And this is running real time, so you see how it's going to perform and how long it takes to connect and show our menu and stuff like that. Right now it's programmed to do it through the Wi-Fi. I'm not sure why it takes so long and is so slow. Do 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 do. It's still trying to connect to Netflix through our Wii. Finally. Now, sometimes when we get to this screen, we'll get these blanks like you see over to the left, and that's actually Law and Order. Oop, it went up on me. I don't know why. So let's tell it to play Law and Order. This is the kind of wait we normally have. Resume playing that episode. And we normally get poor quality, and it normally takes a long time to load, reloads after watching a couple minutes. So there it is, it's playing there. Let's see if it gives us any trouble within the next 30 seconds here.
Stop the bleeding. And then.
Alright, I'll tell you how long it takes for it to give me trouble and do a reload. In 3 minutes I didn't get kicked off, so we're going to go ahead and get it installed. But anyway, you'll need a Ethernet cable and this Connect adapter that's designed to work with the Wii. I did not get the one that's supplied by Wii. I got a cheap knockoff made in China. I bought it maybe 3 days ago. It already came in the mail. So I'm going to walk you through how I'm going to hook it up. It did not come with any instructions. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to the Wii menu and disconnect the Wi-Fi connection from the Wii. So let's hit the home button here. Wii menu. Return to Wii menu. Turn the TV sound down a little bit. And I'm going to turn the Wii off to hook this up. So hitting the power button, and it appeared to power off. Now I'm going to plug in my adapter and see what happens. I go over to my Wii console. Right in the back of the console, there's two dusty USB connectors. So I'm going to blow the dust out of them and plug my adapter right in the back there. Now that the adapter is plugged into the back of it, I'm going to hook up an Ethernet cable and plug it in from there over to my wireless connection box over there. Okay, I have the Wii connected. I'm going to power it on, and when it comes on, I'm going to choose the connection setting for wired and see how that goes. Options, Wii settings. Go over to page 2, internet, connection settings. I'm going to do a connection 2, wired connection. It says it's initializing the connection. I'm going to go OK. So it's testing the connection for the wireless thing that I just plugged into the back of the Wii. Looks like I have some activity lights over there on my router. So hopefully this will work out good. You're seeing this real time, so this is how long it'll actually take. My thing really didn't like testing it wirelessly, so it says the connection test was successful. Perform a Wii system update now. I must click yes. See if it says we need any updates. Last time we did not, so I'm gonna pause while it does this update check. As soon as I hit pause, it said we did not need an update. So we are back at the connection 2. Now I don't know which connection it's going to try to use. So let me go back here and check my options. See which one it's defaulting to. it says it's selected the wired connection to. So let's go back, get to the menu, and then I'm going to select Netflix and see how long it takes to connect and show us and play the video. Before we do that, I'm going to go to bandwidth place and test my wireless connection so you can see what that is supposed to be, and a wired connection will be every bit of that. So at bandwidth place, it's pinging my connection and it's testing my connection speed of my computer to my Comcast cable connection. So my download, it's saying peaked out at 15.44. My upload, it looks like it's peaked out. It says it's 12.42. So we know we have a fast connection here. Okay, now I'm going to the Netflix on my Wii here. Hit start. And let's see how fast it connects this time. We got the red screen and then it goes to the black screen. I imagine it's probably logging in. Now we're at the black screen. Then we should see the menu, and hopefully we won't have those dropouts in the menu like we did when we were on the wireless network. Okay, I don't see any dropouts. They're filling in pretty fast and pretty complete. Let's go back up here and hit Law and Order and see how long it takes to get that started. Hit play episode 5. That even looks clear so far. So looks like I might have high definition playback on my Netflix now. Let's see what happens here, and I'll report back if it does any reloads that we were experiencing on a wireless connection. See what the picture quality looks like for us. Picture quality looks pretty good. I think it was a successful hookup. I'll post in the about comments if I have any issues afterwards or later. Or if at any point this inexpensive knockoff connection, Ethernet connection thing I bought for the Wii quits working. If you feel that this information was useful, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of future videos that I post. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you need to contact me directly, please visit my website. And if you have any questions, leave them below, and someone or myself will reply to them. Again, thank you very much for watching.